So we're at my local Home Depot garden center, so I'm just gonna try and find some plants to pick out for my chameleon enclosures. They usually have a house plant section, typically looks like this, and these are usually the most popular plants for chameleons. Speaking of which, right here in the front we've got the Pothos for a great price, $8.98. It's not half bad. This is a Pothos plant. They come in a variety of colors. You can see this one has some yellow in it. This one still has some yellow. They also come in just like a solid green color. I'm trying to see if I see one like this. Right, so they can also just come in like these green leaves or these more like marbly leaves. They're all still a Pothos plant, and these are great because you can see it here, right? They're super viney and they hang, and so this can be great for your chameleon to climb on. They also do really well in a chameleon enclosure, especially if you have some sort of plant LED light. The plants I try to avoid are things like this, where like this is not going to hold the weight of your chameleon, right? So I'm looking for things a little more sturdy, something like this that could actually hold the weight of a chameleon. So try and aim for stuff like that. Again, like this would be super cool, but like my chameleon can't climb that. It can be kind of daunting to know what plants to use. And so I typically recommend just going with what you know is safe and what other keepers have used, what other keepers, chameleons have taken a bite out of and have been totally fine. Like a Pothos is supposed to be toxic for a cat or a dog, but is the #1 recommended plant for a chameleon because plenty of chameleons have eaten these without any issue. And the reason why we want to use live plants is because chameleons are constantly taking bites out of their plants, and so we want to make sure it's not going to get impacted. They'll also usually have this like outdoor section where there's a lot of flowering plants, and when in doubt, I just searched the name of it. So like this is one that I had my eye on. It has these beautiful little flowers on it, but I wasn't sure if this was safe for my chameleon or not. And so I just looked up the name right here, typically on the tag, and I looked it up on Chameleon Academy and Chameleon Forums to see if any other keepers had any experience using this, which I couldn't find any information about it. So my personal choice is to not use a random plant that I don't know for certain is safe for a chameleon, just stick with the ones that I know work. So I thought this would make a really good centerpiece plant in my enclosure, and I wasn't familiar with this one, the split leaf philodendron. I've used this guy over here, the big leaf philodendron that has these little squiggly leaves, and that's been doing really well in my enclosure. So I looked up on Chameleon Forums, and other keepers recommended using the split leaf and haven't had any issues with it, so I'm going to pick one of those up. And then typically what I do is take out one or two just to look them over. I'm looking for new growth, new leaves, seeing like how many individual plants are in there. So like there's 1, 2, 3 in here, and there's only 1, 2 it looks like in this one. So I think I'm gonna go with this guy. Guys, look what I just found. Polka dot plants. These are definitely recommended for chameleons. Polka dot plant, $5.98, wood is steel, and looks like there's a couple color choices. We got this green, red, pink with green, and then it looks like this white one too. So I think I'm gonna get all 3 and put one in each chameleon enclosure. I'm so excited. So I need another plant to either go in the center of Neptune or Luna's enclosure, and this is a ZZ plant, which I've confirmed is safe for a chameleon, and these are pretty big. Like, well, I guess you can see it, 2 gallon. Like these are pretty hefty. They have like these little ones over here, which you can see are much smaller. So you also have to be mindful of the size that you get, because I want this to be a centerpiece, and at the bottom of the enclosure, I'm gonna bite the bullet and get the bigger one, versus if I wanted something closer to the top, then I would probably get the smaller one. When I'm picking out a Pothos plant, what I'm looking for is one that already has vines established. So this one has more than 4 vines already going, which is ideal for a chameleon enclosure. I'm not too worried about this one little crispy leaf at the top. I can always pick that off. But yeah, this is exactly what I'm looking for. And now we have 1, 2, 3 Pothos picked out for all 3 chameleon enclosures. So once you have your plants picked out, then you also want to get some potting soil so that you can replant all these pots to ensure that they don't have any fertilizers in them. So I typically try to get stuff that says organic, so you know that it's fertilizer free. There's tons of different brands. I've used Nature's Care before, but we're going to try this one out. But again, any organic fertilizer free soil will do the trick. And the last thing I'm gonna get while I'm here are pots. These are the ones I like to use. They're the black nursery container. Let's see. Oh. You can see that. What is that, like 6 inches? I don't even know. Does it say? 2.9 quarts. So you know what size that is. But I like these because they're a little bit flimsier plastic, so then I can cut holes in them and then tie zip ties through them to put them into a chameleon enclosure. And I can sometimes like spray paint these so then they look good inside the enclosures. But yeah, these are my go-tos. And that's it for my Home Depot haul. We've got our pots, plants, and soil. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Leave me any questions or comments down below. Feel free to subscribe so when I post a new video. And you can follow Neptune and all my commands on social media at Neptune the Chameleon. Stay tuned to see all these plants inside of the chameleon enclosures, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Away from me. I hope you guys appreciate what I go through. I just got bit by a mosquito on my finger and like 3 of them on my arm. Yeah, worth it though.